There are times when you need someone, I will be by your side. Hey, there is a light that shines special for you and I, or me, or us, or something of that nature. Welcome to this decently deep diving demonstration of due diligence, dead set on delicately demasking and debunking delusion, and distilling into a detangled dance of, dare I say, discernment. That is the New Earth Architect podcast. I'm your dangerously dashing dabbler in duality and dose of dimension defying deprogramming debauchery. Spencer Kiyoshi, Sidney Polk, welcome. Thank you. A lot in the news. This isn't a news podcast, per se. But I can't ignore what's happening in the world, right? Neither can you. So we'll get through it together, right? Yeah, there's a lot going on. I've been a little hesitant in recording this last hour because I feel like I'm not educated enough on certain things that are happening in the world. So, this podcast is not necessarily about just going over policy and world economics and government and healthcare. What it is about is me just sharing my experience with what helps me process through these things. But, um, it's important to, put a finger on the pulse of what the community is experiencing, right? In order to have a point of reference. I feel like that's important, right? We're all sharing here. So, if you ever feel as though I'm coming off as teachy or, um, something like that, or like just regurgitating, putting out my opinions all over the place and saying that someone needs to follow suit, or it seems like I'm trying to convince you of something, fucking let me know. Let me know. Let me have it. Let them have it. You ain't shit. Never was shit. Won't be shit. No, I'm just kidding. I'm the shit. You're the shit. Can we be the shit together? The collective shit. Ah, yes, the shit. Enough of that. Yeah, so, as I go along creating these podcasts, I just want to make sure that I have proper information. I already get banned a lot, and it's not for misinformation. It's because they don't like the thread of information in which I speak. And that's okay. That's okay. It's not for everybody. It definitely is not that. So I'm okay with that. I am still in my reserve in regards to what I feel I need to share. And receptivity is key for these things for me. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns regarding some of the information, you want to take a deeper dive and speak with me outside of the podcast, I'm all over social media. TikTok, I have a number of different clips that are going on there. Also, the Instagram, I will be pulling away from the Instagram. I'm already not really using the Facebook, the Meta, and all that good kind of stuff. If you saw my last podcast, I addressed the importance of TikTok and our communication, how important that is. Yeah. So, anywho, a lot in the news, right? So, I'm going to just sort of jump on in. What have you guys been seeing? I already covered a little bit of the fires, and this is how the news cycle works. Fuck. You know, it's funny because I was editing little clips after I upload my 1 hour or whatever, 45 minutes. I put it up on YouTube, unedited. Just this is what it is. And then I run that through like a clip maker app. Okay, so I'll get like about maybe 32-minute clips or 1.5 minute clips based off of the keyword usage that I apply. So and I'll put those out over the course of weeks or whatever until I put out another podcast. Um, I don't think I think it's been less than 2 weeks. And as I started like coming to like the end of some of the content that I put out, I'd be like, well, this is fucking old information. I'm looking at it like putting out these little pieces of tidbits of information. I said, that's not even what's going on right now. The fires were, the drones were, the ditties were, but that's not the truth. That's what it seems to be, right? The truth is that all of this stuff is still in play right now. We are in the midst of all of it, right? I'm not saying that in the kind of way, but if it is that kind of way, then I'm protected with 2 sweaters. uh, nice little slow burn for you. I'll unbutton a couple buttons. Next thing you know, the sleeves go up. It comes off, and then you're introduced to sweater number 2. So yeah, the news cycle at this point is just like, we're being bombarded, and inundated with heavy hitters. You know what I mean? This isn't small little policy stuff taking place regarding like the immigration, regarding what's happening with Elon Musk. Essentially going in and bringing his cronies in. I don't want to say cronies because I don't really know the implications of what could be from this, and I'll get on that in a little bit. But there's just a lot happening. These different plane crashes that have taken place, the Blackhawk helicopter crashing in to the passenger plane, as well as the one in Philadelphia, right? And then, I mean, you name it, it's happening. There's other things too, though, that I'm going to highlight here that don't really make the big headlines, do they? And there's reasons behind that, and I'm not going to rabbit hole it. We'll see. I'm not going to tinfoil hat it. We'll see. I never speak in absolutes. See what I did? I do at times. So we'll start with the real heavy hitter, Trump and Israel. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, and Netanyahu, Benjamin, first named, meeting here in the good old US of A. And obviously having some discussions that are leading some people to worry about what the fuck his plan is. Now, as a person that tries to look at all dimensions of whatever is presented to my awareness and whatever I take into my consciousness from that point and really decide to give attention to, I want to make sure that I'm really thorough in processing this stuff before I, you know, fucking discard it as waste anyway, and then get back to fucking doing the work in here to make sure that in my general, I'm being the best, stud I could be out there. What? I don't know. You know what I mean. Best human being, right? So apparently, Donald Trump has decided to have a press conference with Benjamin Netanyahu, ultimately stating that the U.S. will take it from here. We're going to go ahead and take over Gaza, and we're going to level it and take all the bombs out of it and give jobs to the people there and create the Riviera of the Middle East. So I know that my tone might sound a little judgmental. If it does, it's because I don't trust any of these motherfuckers, period. Two wings of the same bird, fucking vulture is the bird. It's not that beautiful American bald eagle as we all thought. It's a buzzard. It's a buzzard. Um, so does this potentially imply complete intervention of genocide? So this is the other angle in which I look at it. Yeah, these sort of warmongering and fucking capitalist, opportunistic mentality of the West. Um, I'm also looking to see if Donald Trump is smart enough to know that he could be potentially stopping genocide from taking place. Listen, what alternatives thus far do we have right now that's been put on the table publicly, to what is already happening and what's not stopping, right? Which is genocide. Um, so I'm thinking maybe he's crazy like a fox in regards to saying, well, we're going to come in there. We're already funding the shit out of Israel. Um, and what I've seen so far with Donald Trump is he wants to get some money back from fucking Canada, Venezuela, you name it, Mexico. He's like, you know, I'm not a nationalist by any stretch, but I guess I mean if this is his job and people voted him in, is this what it looks like, right? But my main thing here is okay, genocide, right? Um, if somehow he comes in and says, "Hey, listen, we want to come in and restructure that area. We want a piece of what's going on, but you got to stop this war." Will that satisfy people? Right? Is it enough for him to come in and say and actually stop that, from continuing, even though sort of in trade we're getting a piece of what the fuck, the apartheid, the colonialization. I don't know. I don't know. But as it stands right now, listen, I'll tell you something. I get a little excited by chaos, not in a delighting type of way, not like oh yeah, shit's falling apart. No, 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 no. But just my sort of fundamental intuitive understanding of how the universe and cycle of universe and God's law works is that, in order for something new to grow, the old way must die. Chaos theory a little bit, right? We could have been going on with business as usual in our government, or we felt the need to bring somebody in to rattle the cage, right? What does that look like? Is it the whole gotta crack a couple eggs to make an omelet? I'm gonna let you decide. Okay. Okay. Maybe not a time for laughter. Yeah, levity's always welcome in my world. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. You tell me. Put it in the comments. Because it's a dance. It's a fucked up cha cha. It's a tumultuous tango. That's all I got. It's a. I was trying to think of something to go with the electric slide. I don't have time. I don't have time for the electric slide. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think about that. Jeez. I mean, it's huge. Whatever the implications are, I mean, I'm sure you can just sort of rattle off a number of different angles insofar as what this could be. I will say this, however, and this might, alienate some people, or maybe people will look at me a little bit strange, but I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, I said I'd stop cursing. Um, or I said that I'd curse less moving forward in this podcast. So let me go ahead and be mindful of that right now. Hmm. Yeah, I will say this: there's a lot that transcends um, our view of world politics. Okay, um, the view of governance and control and what that means to the people is more than taxes, right? It's more than smart grid cities. It's more than land grabs, right? It is to control ultimately the energy of us, to take this and harness it and sway it and mold it and corral it and herd it in a certain kind of way to where it best benefits a certain class. And by class, I mean reptilians. Oh, you think I'm kidding, but I don't like to just sort of whittle down to this short little, I don't know, soundbite of different species intergalactically, interdimensionally. But let me tell you something. Some people see it as a holy war. Some people see it as an interdimensional war. Some people see it as, whatever. The just ultimately the inevitable light versus dark argument. We are at the precipice, though, of a dynamic shift, no matter what that is, right? No matter what that is, which is why it is so important for us to ground in and start engaging our nature and unmending um, elements of ourselves that are more powerful and more in tune to what's actually going on beyond the scope of the media landscape or social media or just what you think is sort of happening in this 3D construct, right? It's a lot more than that. So I say that to say that through history, the identities of certain peoples have been, in our understanding, um, misled, right? What we think is, and I know I sound vague. Um, I sound like this because I feel like, well, I'm not downloading right now, and I'm trying to intellectualize and articulate something that typically exists more within a different realm of expression for me. But I will say that people just ain't who we think they are. People ain't who we think they are. Okay. And excuse me, I can go into a number of different ways as to how these things are connected beyond just a strip of land, and people that think that they are holier than others and chosen over other human beings, right? And because what we've seen so far with sort of the peeling back of the layers of some of this Hollywood stuff and media stuff and government control is like there seems to be a few common threads and very few common threads insofar as those that are at the top sort of pulling the strings. Does that make sense? That might have been a very long winded approach in saying that that land was given away to a person that was not who they say they are. Okay. And there's a lot of control elements that come from that. I'm going to get fucking booted. I don't care. I'm talking about fucking Zionists, by the way. Not Jews, not Israelis, Zionists. So anyway, well, that was a hell of a fucking segue, wasn't it? So yeah, these things are all connected. Well, I don't care whether you're talking about LA burning down. I don't care about whether you're talking about the fact that let's look at this senior member of the Orthodox Jewish sect Lev Tahor. His name is Yoel Alter, arrested on alleged human trafficking, sexual abuse of children in Central America, one of the largest human trafficking cults. in the modern age. Let me see when this happened. This happened on January 25th. January 24th, Blackhawk pilot, or the Blackhawk uh, crash happened, right? In DC. Very close happenings, right? Just enough for one thing to edge the other out of the media, right? Not that it was really going to make it there anyway in the regular sort of standardized format, state run media, you know? But yeah, so that happened just within days, and that was buried, you know? I don't know a lot about the whole Black Hawk situation. Um, what I do know is that as a vet, as a veteran of the United States Navy, and as working in, being that I worked in certain capacities that are maybe beyond the norms in the sort of regular populace of the military, um, I will tell you one thing: 500 flight hours for Captain Rebecca Lobach, that is not sufficient. That's barely you know 500 hours with the pilot's license. That's not much experience at all. You're still doing a lot of training in OJT, and it's definitely not within the environment that we saw this crash happen. So I'll say that. I will also say that, among the three on board, you have Andrew Lloyd Eves, you have Captain Rebecca M. Loback, and you have Ryan Austin O'Hara. They released the two males' names quite quickly once it was sort of time, because people were saying, hey, what's going on? But they withheld her information for quite a bit, and it looks like a lot of details about her history were scrubbed. Actually, most of her online content and information was scrubbed. Um, Allegedly, shit. Should I say allegedly? It was scrubbed. Um, I don't know. And yeah, there's interesting ties with her training, and just sort of her placement in certain areas. She was there to give the Congressional Medal of Freedom to Ralph Lauren with the Biden administration. She was there standing post, and she made rank really, really quickly. She was a captain at, I believe, the age of 28. Yeah. I was a SM2 by the age of, I don't know. Oh, salty sailor dog. That's me. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of things swirling that. I mean, do your own research, do your own homework, make up your own mind as to what this is. Essentially, it's a distraction more so than anything else. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying it probably absolutely did happen. But there's reasons that it happened, and then that reason is being used as a distraction. Let me actually restate that, because the reason is not clear. They're not going to tell the true reason why that happened, why that uh, uh, coincidence took place with who was on the carrier plane and then who was on the helicopter, and why that actually happened there. I'm sure that it wasn't. Look, I don't think they're crashing Blackhawks into planes just for a distraction from something else. That was something else going on its own that was covert and not meant to be seen, and then something else happened and they used it as a distraction, or it was somebody unaliving someone intentionally because they were in transport with precious cargo, right? I've seen it myself in the past. In my past military experience, I've seen things that um, don't make the headlines, right? At the end of the day. But this does seem a bit more contrived in the sense of it being used um, as some kind of I don't know, bargaining chip, or like I said, distraction, or you know, these things are multi-layered. As I said, these governments in power, I mean, they're very good at what they do. If you think you're good at figuring it out online, and you got all this different bit data coming on, trust me, they think about this. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, I mean, shit, what your algorithm every day, right, allows for them to know exactly what it is that you're thinking, and what you're trying to figure out, and what you're trying to gather. So if that is surmised at some point, then you might start getting different information to lead you a different kind of way. So we are in the age of discernment. Start fine tuning that, baby. Time to get still. Breathe into it. Take these things, and I know that I'm talking about them at length, but I'll let you know. Um, I'm not dwelling on these things or losing sleep over them, because there are bigger fish to fry. And those fish consist of really properly processing, integrating, and transmuting this information that I'm getting in, so that I make sure that I am um, being joyfully exuberant, and balanced and loving, and engaging authentically with the people around me, and you guys around me. Did you guys see how shocked Beyonce was that she won? Yeah, shocker, shocker, real shocker. Sorry, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, it's all connected. I say that often in my podcast, don't I? It's all connected. Cross me right here, like that show Homeland, right? Where they got the big poster board and all the yarn and the little thumbtacks and shit, and marker. Just a beautiful mind. My mind is nothing. My heart, though, however, it's a whole other thing, baby. But you got to put these things together too, right? Heart mind cohesion. Ooh, start surrounding and enveloping these thoughts and the things that come from these thoughts with your intention to process them out. Grounding, meditation, diet. Speaking of diet, if I may, it's getting warm. Maybe it's my two sweaters. It's probably my two sweaters. Maybe it's my two sweaters. It's probably my two sweaters that are making me warm. The two sweaters. So, excuse me. Oh, yeah. I'm sure you guys just thought it was all a ruse, huh? That I was just making it up, huh? That I'm not an absolute fiend as I talk about diet and things of putting things in your body. I've mentioned it a couple times. These are not of the 7-Eleven variety, but these are my chocolate chip cookies. Mm. Is it rude to eat on camera? He needs some milk. I got some milk. Yep. Judge not, lest ye be judged. As I eat chocolate chip cookies and cow's milk. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm working on it. I'm working on it though. I'm working on it dough. Cookie dough. Mm. So yeah, a couple of the different highlights. What they're doing at the Capitol or what's happening with Elon Musk. I don't know enough about. So I don't want to assume or guesstimate whether or not this is something bad. I will say this, just on the sort of basic framework of my understanding of how this stuff has been working. They're spending a lot of money and our money on things that have nothing to do with the betterment of humanity, society, right? So someone's got to take a look at the checks and balances and what's been happening, right? Obviously, a lot of that going to Ukraine and Israel, but there's a lot of waste. I know Elon went with his people to the Department of Treasury, right? To get in there to the database to see what's what. What the implications are, I really don't know. I wish I knew. I wish, it's not wish. Wishes are for wishing wells and genies, right? I have neither. But again, business as usual or rattling of the cage. What do you feel? What do you think? What is your mind and heart telling you about the situation? Do you feel that there's an opportunity? Do you feel as though there's an opportunity to expose the way that things have been going, or by exposing the way that things are going and actually having receipts for this, that moving forward there can be change that truly benefits the masses? Or do you feel that by acquiring this information and this data about how things have been going, that is now something that can be turned into a power play to garner more control over us, and then sort of delivered under the guise of something else? I feel as though all potentials exist when it comes to what it is that we are responsible for in how we view and take in this information. I would say, at least for my own experience, is to look at this, understand that I don't know enough, right? Try to educate myself. Then from that point, understand that if I still don't know, right? So from there, I am to then look to craft my vision as to how I want to see the thing play out. If I have any opinion at all, then it would be based off of what, right? Doesn't every individual work that way? But how much, are we really engaging ourselves to understand, what do I want from this? Do I understand enough about this to want something from it? So that's why it's important that we do educate ourselves, so that we can really, that's part of, utilizing the discernment. It's not just looking at something at face value and say, yep, that's that. It's going to fuck us up. We're doomed now. That's not what it's about. We have to look at this stuff with critical thinking first, and then we need to take that into our, right, spirit consciousness, how we sort of process this information innately, and utilize that blessing and that gift that we all have to become still and really process this stuff through, and then sort of visualize what it is that we want to see moving forward in the new earth. Okay. I don't get too spiritual on this thing. Spiritual, right? Isn't that weird? I don't understand. It's a thing because I don't download when I'm doing this one-on-one camera thing. It's more of it's based out of receptivity. So if I try to, I don't know. I've already said this numerous times, but maybe it's worth mentioning again. I mean, I'm not trying to come off spiritual or non-spiritual or like, not trying to come off as anything really. I guess I'm just sort of delivering some information, giving a little bit of insight based off of my perspective. And if it resonates, then it does. Maybe to have you think or have a different way of thinking outside of just a singular, you know? Yeah, so senior member of the Orthodox Jewish sect Lev Tahor, his name is Joel Alter, was arrested on alleged human trafficking and sexual abuse of children in Central America. So that's a big deal. Want to see where those connections lead to, right? What those tendrils are. Um, as we already know, there's such a raised brow and a weird, sort of energy and climate about Hollywood and media and Diddy and all this kind of stuff. Um, this is where we're at, folks. Whoa, this is just where we're at. I don't even have really much to say about it except for, once again, it's all connected. And I guess I'll do that on a different podcast or something and do deep dives into each sort of category. Um, but it's bigger than you think. It's a lot bigger than you think. I'm gonna use an example too, if you don't mind. And I think I wrote it down. I want to make sure that I'm speaking to this properly. And what it is basically this. Look, okay. I mentioned earlier that those dates are very close together. The Blackhawk going down, as well as the senior member of this Orthodox Jewish sect getting arrested by Interpol, actually. Um, it's very similar to the timing with Diddy's arrest and the 23andMe resignation. I don't know if you're aware of that, but just days within each other. All of the high level executives actually resigned from 23andMe. And 23andMe, as you know, is the largest DNA retrieval or collection database in the world. I think the Ancestry.com is right after that. But something made these guys drop and get out. And that happened, I think, 2 days, within 2 days of Diddy being arrested. And of course, you didn't really see much about it in the media because you get the sensationalized stuff, which, again, is connected, but they present forward the most sensational so that it just sort of does a little something to you. Sort of like the gossip rags, you know? But then you don't see the moves that like Congress are making behind closed doors. So that's one of those things. I know I sound a little disjointed. I'm very tired. I've been sleeping horribly. I took some gummies the last couple nights, and they were too strong to where I was waking up feeling like I got hit by a truck or like I ate too many cookies before bed. All of the above could be true. Not true. Year of the Snake means shedding, not chasing your own tail. With discernment comes the ability not to differentiate and choose only of the things that you perceive outside of yourself, but to integrate into to integrate facts, I don't know, into development and growth so that So much so that we don't have to dwell on judgment. Those are horrible notes. I had something and then it went away because of the way that I wrote it out. So please, yeah, forgive me on this podcast. Um, yeah, I'm just a little bit jumbled. As much as you are, I try to go through this information in a sort of technical kind of way, and you know, uh, not get caught up with saying too much of how I feel about it. So I'll just give you the information and you do with it what you will. And then I'll probably just circle back around in some other podcasts and, you know, but I don't edit this stuff. So what you see is what you get. I may sound a little bit uneducated, and that's fine. I am. I am. What do we do all with all of this? Is it causing dis-ease for you? Is it causing any suffering in your life? Is it impacting your day-to-day life experience? That ultimately really is the question, right? For each individual. How are these things impacting you? What are they doing to your mental health, your physical health? What are they doing? Um, how are they impacting the relationships in your life? You know, are you feeling like, alienated, isolated? Are you feeling stressed out? Are you feeling the impact of obviously raising prices and everything? And I don't want to just start piling these things on to be all doom and gloom. I say that to say I know that there's a lot right now happening, but that also means that there's a lot of opportunity. That might sound crazy, but more fertilizer, more flowers, right? These happenings are going to continue happening, whether that's natural disasters and crazy things like that, fires, earthquakes, excuse me, planes crashing into each other or falling out of the sky, um, random acts of violence, large scale acts of violence, dynamic shifts, and ballsy moves in world government. These things are going to continue to happen. Um, but so is the amount of information coming out about them, right? So that is where it's important to make sure that we're giving ourselves a break with the doom scrolling and getting caught up in these things as though they are, you know, right at our front door, because they don't have to be. You can become acutely aware of something and then detach. But I would say that it would be imperative to add a practice to your life, whether that's going outside and grounding and doing some breath work regimens or guidance, meditation, prayer, nature. You are nature, you know. And I once again fall short of like really giving out direction or instruction as to what I do. If you're curious, please let me know, message me, comment, what have you. And because believe me, I have a number of different templates situated a different kind of ways that alchemize different things within the body and create a different level of awareness, experience, and consciousness. Um, it's what I do more situationally than others. People are like, why don't you do more workshops or why don't you charge for, this? I don't do that. I had a friend that was just now saying that. It's just such a crazy thing. Yeah, man, pretty insightful, and people they follow you. Like before I started doing this podcast and stuff like that, I said I was traveling, van life, and all this kind of stuff. So on a day to day basis, I come in contact with people and we share, right? And it's quite profound typically. Um, my friend was like, "Yeah, man, there's people like making a lot of. I don't care about that stuff. Um, I always have everything I need. Um, that's not to say I'm. I mean, I'm not above selling merch. I'll make some T-shirts, or something like that. You know? Yeah, I'll do something like that at some point. Kiyoshi's cookies. Just kidding. Hmm. So I don't know. Thanks for bearing with me through this podcast. I didn't have much. I just wanted to put some of this information out there as though you're not already aware, and let you know that you're not alone. Um, there are like-minded people out there, so community is important also. So I will read this thing because I think I'm gonna just end it here because I don't really have much else to say. Um, I love you all. Love, light, and blessings. Thank you for joining. Um, this is something that I had placed in my journal. I don't know, maybe like a month or something ago, maybe a few months ago. Didn't check the date. I just made sure to throw it on my laptop here so that I could read it after here. And this has to do, I believe, with not getting caught up in assumptions and even though things seem dark and dreary and there's always another side, and we have the ability to dig deep and engage that at any time of our choosing. um yes, there is methodology behind these things, um but you're fully capable of surrendering yourself to not knowing, right? Surrendering yourself to um not getting caught up in conclusions, right? To understanding that there is always a potential to shift the trajectory of whatever it is you think is static or solid state. We can always change this, and together, with our powers combined, we can do that. We're actually being called to do it. Yeah. So it says, where there is unprecedented happenings that provoke fear, uncertainty, instability, suffering, emptiness, etc., there are also unprecedented happenings that are miraculous, blessings, beautiful fortune, surreal bliss, joy, and fulfillment if we know nothing of what is to come. Why would we? Oh, yeah, fulfillment. Yeah. If we know nothing of what is to come, why would we assume that what is to come is negative or bad, etc.? What we are seeing now could be perceived to be bad or negative or dark, yes? Then is it not feasible that what's to come is the other side of the dualistic nature of all things? The light at the dark tunnel? We are in the midst of all of it. Zoom out from the linear way of looking at things and look all around you. Is there not beauty to be seen now? Can you look to a situation that brings you more love and light and joy than sadness, pain, and hurt? Then there you are. Here you are. Here we all are. We are here in the now, experiencing the natural and beautiful expression of the universe expanding. And you are the universe expressed in the human form, and the human being is nature. Well, that's what I got. Thank you once again for joining the New Earth Architects podcast. I know it was a little disjointed. We just having cookies, This is just what it is sometimes. but I felt the need to go ahead and get this out and share. Perhaps I'll pick one topic next time and do a deeper dive. I'm still figuring out this podcast stuff, you know? So let me know, please, in the comments how I can do better. I'm melting. Oh, you guys want to talk about Wicked next time? I'll get you, my pretty. And your little dog, too. Somewhere the rainbow way